The observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship Zenith Dawn fell silent as the emergency broadcast crackled through every speaker. Commander Velthar, a seasoned Kryn warrior whose scales had survived 300 campaigns, felt his secondary heart skip a beat. On the main view screen, a planet designated as KX-447 was supposed to be undergoing routine exploration. Instead, what they saw was chaos. The Vexrathi Cub has breached containment, the frantic voice reported. 4 security officers down. Hull armor compromised on decks 7 through 9. Scarlett Morgan stood at the edge of the crowd, her arms crossed, watching the pandemonium unfold with unsettling calm. The human consultant barely reached Velthar's chest plates, yet something about her stillness made the towering aliens give her space. She had been aboard for 3 cycles now, part of humanity's recent addition to the Council, and most species still didn't know what to make of her kind. Vexrathi, muttered Kixal, a mantis-like chiropter in whose translated voice buzzed with fear. A juvenile, but still. Those creatures can tear through starship hulls. Their bite force exceeds 12,000 pounds per square inch. Scarlett tilted her head slightly, her dark eyes never leaving the screen where a creature the size of a small shuttle rampaged through corridors. It looked like someone had crossed a bear with a tiger and given it armored plates that shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence. Beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. How did a Vexrathi cub get on an exploration vessel? Scarlett asked quietly. The science team thought they could study it. Velthar growled, his translator struggling with his anger. Fools. Young Vexrathi are unpredictable, violent. It will kill everyone on that ship before we can mount a proper response. On screen, another security team attempted to corner the creature with plasma nets. The Vexrathi cub roared, a sound that made several observers flinch even through speakers, and swatted the nets aside like cobwebs. Its claws, each as long as a human forearm, carved through a bulkhead with casual ease. Estimated time to prepare a containment team? Scarlett asked. 2 hours minimum, Velthar said grimly. The beast will have killed dozens by then. Or, Scarlett said, already moving toward the shuttle bay, I could go now. The command deck erupted in protest. Velthar's translator couldn't keep up with the overlapping objections from a dozen species. Scarlett stopped at the door and turned back. That's a juvenile, right? A baby? A baby that has already killed 4 trained soldiers and destroyed reinforced armor. Kixal chirped. Scarlett smiled, and something in that expression made Velthar's scales ripple with instinctive unease. Then it scared and acting out. Let me handle this. Before anyone could stop her, she was gone. 20 minutes later, Atticus Rivera watched his partner's helmet cam feed from the shuttle. He sat in the pilot's seat, hands steady on the controls despite the knot in his stomach. He and Scarlett had been partners for 5 years. First in Earth's wildlife conservation, then in this strange new frontier of galactic exploration. He knew that look in her eyes. She was in what she called the zone. Scarlett, the Council is having a collective aneurysm up here, Atticus said through the comm. Velthar is threatening to put you in the brig if you survive this. He can try, Scarlett's voice crackled back, amused. I'm at the breach point. Going in. The helmet cam showed the torn corridor still smoking from plasma burns. Scarlett moved through it with the quiet confidence of someone who had walked among Earth's most dangerous predators. In her hands, she carried no weapons, just a standard emergency kit and what looked like a compressed nutrition bar. Atticus heard it before he saw it. A low, rumbling growl that vibrated through the audio feed. Then the Vexrathi cub came into view. Up close, it was even more impressive. Easily 3 tons of muscle and armor, with eyes that glowed like molten gold. Its jaws were still stained with the hydraulic fluid from the equipment it had destroyed. When it saw Scarlett, those jaws opened, revealing rows of teeth that could punch through titanium. Easy there, baby, Scarlett murmured, her voice dropping into a tone Atticus had heard her use with frightened grizzlies and wounded wolves. Nobody here is going to hurt you. The cub lunged. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists for years. The Vexrathi's bite caught Scarlett's armored shoulder, and the reinforced plating crumpled like paper. Alarm screamed as her suit registered critical damage. The force should have taken her arm off. Scarlett didn't scream. Didn't even flinch. Instead, she reached up with her other hand and gently, impossibly gently, pressed her palm against the cub's snout. Are you done? She asked, her voice carrying that peculiar mix of patience and authority that every social animal instinctively recognized. The Vexrathi froze. Its golden eyes widened, pupils dilating. For a long moment, Predator and human stared at each other. Then Scarlet did something that made Atticus's blood run cold, and the council observers gasp in disbelief. She pushed the cub's jaws open with her bare hands, extracting her mangled shoulder from its mouth, and sat down on the floor. "You're scared," she said softly, unwrapping the nutrition bar. "Lost, confused, and everyone's been treating you like a monster. But you're not a monster, are you? You're just a kid in a scary place." She held out the bar. The Vexrathi cub sniffed, then slowly, almost hesitantly, moved closer. Its armored tail, which had been lashing like a whip, lowered. It took the offered food with surprising delicacy, those massive jaws barely touching Scarlet's hand. Then it laid down. The great armored head rested on Scarlet's lap like an oversized puppy seeking comfort. The creature that had torn through starship armor and killed trained soldiers began to purr, a sound like distant thunder. Scarlet stroked its scaled forehead, smiling despite the pain of her shattered shoulder. "There we go, good baby. You're okay now." "Scarlet," Atticus breathed into the calm. "That was the most insane, reckless, absolutely human thing I've ever seen." "Thanks," she replied. "Can you let medical know I'll need a shoulder reconstruction? And tell Velthar we'll need proper enrichment facilities for our new friend here. Also, someone should really review their containment protocols." On the Zenith Dawn, Commander Velthar stared at the screen, where a human sat bleeding and calm, with a Vexrathi cub purring in her lap. Around him, representatives from 36 species watched in stunned silence. "Humans," Kixall finally chittered, "are absolutely terrifying." Velthar's scales rippled in what might have been agreement or awe. "No," he said slowly. "There's something else entirely." They looked at Death and asked it if it was done throwing its tantrum. Atticus brought the shuttle in for retrieval, shaking his head with a mixture of exasperation and pride. "HFY," he muttered to himself, an acronym he'd learned from Earth's internet culture. Humanity, hell yeah. On the damaged exploration vessel, Scarlet continued to pet the sleeping cub, whispering reassurances while waiting for pickup. She'd lost a shoulder but gained something more valuable. Another reminder to the galaxy that humans hadn't reached the stars through superior weapons or armor. They'd reached them by understanding that even the most dangerous creatures were sometimes just scared children, looking for someone who wasn't afraid to ask, "Are you done?" And